There's been a huge update in the Hailey Welch Tuah coin crypto scam cinematic universe, and apparently Faze Banks, we all know Faze Banks, big time guy, but basically anyways, he was supposed to go on a podcast episode with Hailey Welch to kind of see her side of the story, to see if she was at fault for the crypto scam or if there was someone else like her team at fault. And apparently the podcast episode was supposed to be cleared by Faze Banks before it went live. Apparently there were some stipulations to the podcast episode, and apparently those stipulations were not met, and the podcast was leaked anyway. Let's get into it. So first things first, it was a full podcast episode leaked, like where they actually filmed it and everything, edited and everything. It wasn't like it was the idea of a podcast episode leaked, or like there were just some clips of Faze Banks. It was a full podcast. So pretty much the only reason why Faze Banks went on this podcast episode was he wanted to hear Hailey's side of the story, to see if Hailey had anything to do with the whole market manipulation and just the Tuah coin in general. And apparently one of the stipulations that was happening with the podcast in order for Faze Banks to greenlight it is apparently not allowing markets to be manipulated by leaking this episode's existence before a resolution was found. So basically they had to find a resolution as far as like for the people who lost money, people suing her, just in general, there had to be a resolution found before this podcast episode was put out there. And adding to that, it had to be like a real resolution. It couldn't be like, oh, well, we won't do it again. We won't do Tuah coin anymore. Like, it had to be a real resolution. And apparently on February 2nd, there was a little spike in the Tuah coin. And at the same time, someone from Hailey Welch's crypto team asked Faze Banks if they did the podcast episode already, if it was already filmed, if it was already done deal. And apparently Faze Banks kind of figured this was this was very shady dealings. So he decided to call off the episode and call off being on the episode and to not greenlight it at all. And Faze Banks also added in a little disclosure that no one from his team had Tuah coin in their possession, and that people should probably stay away from Tuah coin, mainly because majority of the shares and majority of the coin was owned by developers, whatever that means. So there's two possibilities of what has happened here today. It's either Hailey Welch's team is the worst team on the internet. It's the worst team on the internet that will take advantage of their client just to make a quick buck through crypto, or Hailey Welch was in on everything. She was in on the market manipulation. She was in on everything, allegedly. But the first podcast episode back didn't have to be a Faze Banks episode. So I don't know why they didn't just find someone else to ask all the same questions, to do the same podcast episode back. If they really wanted to come out with another podcast episode, I really don't know why they would do that, except if they wanted to manipulate the market because it was going up a little bit. That's the only reason why I can see that. And so, like, I don't know why they couldn't just reshoot the episode and just get someone else on the podcast if they really wanted to save her career. Because there's plenty of people who have gone on the podcast. I don't know anyone specifically because I don't know any of these people. But I bet there would have been someone who, like, what about CoffeeZilla? Why can't you have a CoffeeZilla episode if the Faze Banks episode didn't work out like that? So many people would watch that if CoffeeZilla went on the Tuah podcast or just like phoned in or something. That would have been a banger. But anyways, if you liked what you saw, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Until next time, see you later.